Hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Thinking Thursday. So today our guest is Annu Kalra. So I'm giving her a short introduction. Spiritually inspired author, artist and guide Annu Kalra. So welcome Annu. Welcome to
Thank
Thinking
you.
Thursday. Yes. So having had a career in advertising spanning over 25 years, Annu has devoted her life to nurturing people into embodying their best selves. A visiting master at Ananda, visiting faculty at MBA institutes, speaker at forum like YPO, FICCI, FLO, Delhi University. A published author and artist with many solo art exhibitions to her name. Multitude of TV appearances, featured writing in national and international publications, and awards. She is coach and mentor to many. So good. She interprets traditional wisdom in the modern context through her writing, painting, and sharing through workshops and personal counseling sessions. She not only does tarot reading, but through workshops and personal counseling sessions. She herself created a self-help system of guidance and meditation cards based on her paintings and Hindu gods and goddesses and written a book on interpretation for the same. Her message is simple. The outer world is a reflection of her inner state and it takes deep inner work to bring about harmony and well-being in our lives. She facilitates and supports this inner work through various systems and process from yogic asanas and pranayams, mantra chantings, neuro-linguistic programming techniques, healing meditations, journaling, techniques of affirmations, gratitude, and much more. Welcome, Annu. You may start now.
Thank you very much. We'll do a little bit of Om chanting before we begin.
Yes.
Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Vakratunda Mahakaya, Suryakoti Samaprabha, Nirvikhnam Kuru Me Deva, Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om. Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Om. Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. So, Devi is Prakriti. We all know that Navratra, we know about the Sharadiya Navratra and the Chaitra Navratras because they come twice a year. One ends with Ram Navami and the ones we're going through right now, Sharadiya Navratra, they end with Vijayadashmi, right? We are aware of that. There are Navratras come 2 more times. Those are called the Gupta Navratras. So basically, what are Navratras? This is the period, Sandhya hoti hai na, when changeover happens. This is a Sandhya of the Ritus, when the weather changes. And the intense weather when it changes, that is the period which regular people like us get to know about it, and we celebrate these Navratras. But the sadhaks who are following some anushtans and are practicing something, they also follow the Gupta Navratras. Typically, these Navratras, it's the Durga who is celebrated. And in the Gupta Navratras, the sadhaks do practices to do with the Dasha Mahavidyas. I'm just giving this background so that we understand why our ancestors created this concept of fasting and feasting around this period. Because when the weather changes, the body has to get acclimatized to this change of weather. Right? So they introduce this concept of going off certain foods, having a certain lifestyle that enables us to get over the laziness within ourselves in order to participate in our day-to-day activities in a positive way. Because as the weather changes, we realize in the morning, we don't feel like getting out of bed. Sardi hone lag gayi, arey, man nahi kar raha, walk pe nahi jana, I don't feel like it. But the moment you say, arey Navratri hai, Mata ke aage jyot jagani hai, you will push yourself out of bed, and therefore you will maintain some discipline. The reason I first did the mantra of Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya, that our real prayer to the mother is to take us from Asat to Sat, right? From darkness to light, and from this process of birth and rebirth towards immortality. So really, her task is to take us to consciousness. And how beautiful that there is a process of celebrating, following some anushtans, doing idol worship, but the end result is still moksha. While everything, most of the other modalities available within Sanatana Dharma are to do with Gyan, this is the one system where through participation, even in a collective way, you are heading towards the deeper understanding of life per se. Because that is, evolution is the primary purpose of our lives, human life, right? And what is evolution? We are all a combination of Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. This is the period when we are asked to let go of some Tamasic because we want to increase the Sattvic in our lives. That is what evolution is, to increase the Sattvic. But since it is difficult to increase Sattvic by itself, if we start increasing the Rajasic also, the ratio alters, the Tamas reduces. Right? So that is why the foods like onion, garlic, those are given up. Are you aware? Are you familiar with the story about garlic? Okay. So there was this in Ramana Maharishi's ashram in Tiruvannamalai once, somebody was sick and the Ved who came, he made some aushadhi with garlic and gave to the person, and he also told the benefits of garlic. So one of the people in the ashram, he requested Maharishi saying, if garlic is so good for health, why do we call it tamasic? Why do you tell us not to have it? Why is it not used in our ashram? So Ramana Maharishi told him the story about the Samudra Manthan. In the Samudra Manthan, when the Amrit had come out, and Mohini, she placates the Asurs and tells them, hang on, wait, I will give it to you when your turn comes. Let me first give it to the Devtas. And the plan was to not give it to the Asurs, because you don't want the negative forces to become immortal. You want the positivity to get immortal, right? So you are going to give Amrit to the positive forces, which are the Devtas, not the Asurs, not the Daityas. But one Daitya sits between sun and the moon, and he pretends to be a Devta, and he receives, in his patra, he receives the Amrit, and he puts it in his mouth. But the sun and the moon point out to Mohini, saying, this is not a Devta, this is a Asur. And Lord Vishnu uses the Sudarshan Chakra and cuts the head. So that is what we know as Rahu and Ketu, right? The two, one is the head and one is the body, the tail, like a serpent, right? So now, because what happens is the Amrit is not able to go past the neck, the throat, and it falls on the ground. And where the Amrit falls, that becomes garlic. So therefore, it has the qualities of rejuvenation, of increasing, of healing, of, all the benefits. But it went through an Asur. Therefore, it becomes tamasic in nature. So what happens is, when we consume garlic, the tamas that is latent in us increases. If we are prone to being angry, we get more angry. If we are, the lust goes up. If the libido goes up, the anxiety goes up. So whatever is already which is the tamas that is more in us, that aspect gets magnified. So therefore, this is the period when we are told to not consume onion, garlic, other tamasic foods, because we are trying to alter the ratio of the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So this is at the spiritual level. At the physical level, we are trying to get the body conditioned to the new weather that is going to happen. I mean, one fine day, you're drinking cold coffee, and the next day you start drinking hot coffee. Suddenly the body, it's too much of a difference for the body, no? So, but if it is done in a certain way, where you gradually remove some things from your diet, the body gets acclimatized much better. So that is why the Navaratras are the period for giving up certain foods, allowing the body to reset and get acclimatized to the new weather, and you have better health. The fact that you've dropped tamasic foods also improves mental health. And the fact that the kind of practices we have include a lot of bonding between people. There's a lot of engagement with each other. That also helps with mental health. Because some people who may otherwise, the other day remember we were coming back from Faridabad and we were going through this area of Govindpuri, and there were these, melas with big giant wheels with all these lights, and children and people in the best clothes going and attending Ram Leela, the women wearing fineries. I mean, look at the joy quotient. A lot of people who have a lot of drudgery in their lives, who otherwise may not be able to really let their hair down, this is the period when they can. So it's very beautiful. So our ancestors understood this, and they have given us systems which allow us. I mean, imagine if you get to do these things, what is the possibility of getting depressed? Much lower than it ordinarily would be, right? And this is the time when you can enjoy without feeling any guilt, because because it is being done in the name of culture. It is being done in the name of tradition. Nobody's going to judge you for it. Why are you going and wasting? If somebody went out with friends dancing on a regular day, the mother or the mother-in-law might still say, what is this? Tum roz nikli rehti ho. But if she goes to do garba and dandiya in this period, no one's going to judge them for it. No one's going to question them about it. It's expected. It's all right. Right? So at the emotional level, at the mental level, at the physical level, these are the benefits. But there is another, and this is the very interesting story behind it. I was actually awed by our ancestors and what they have left behind for us. So this was many years back. I was sitting with the Aghori Sadhu, and we were having a discussion about religion, culture. And I said, Baba, tell me one thing. Why are all the fasts done by women for men? You know, kabhi pati ke liye vrat rakh rahe ho, kabhi bete ke liye vrat rakh rahe ho, karwa chauth, ahoi. So why does this happen? And he said, nahi, aadmi rakhte hain auraton ke liye. I said, I have never heard of it. He says, hai na, Navaratras are actually about men fasting for women. It was such a surprise for me because I remember since childhood seeing the men in the family participate in a big way when I was younger. Because, you know, when we as little kanjaks went around to people's house, the men folk would wash our feet and they would give us the prasad and they would give us some gifts. So that I remember from my childhood. But as one grew up, one never encountered men fasting, too many men fasting. And that there are Navratras which are dedicated to certain relationships. I'm just going to share that with you now, and you will be so thrilled to know about it. So the first Navratra, we fast for Dharti Ma. Because if we have manifested at this earth realm, okay, then we owe a debt of gratitude to this Mother Earth, you know, to enjoy her lakes and her bounty of fruits and rivers and mountains, you know, the sky. So the first Navratra is for Dharti Ma, and which is why you have the system of Khetri Bijna. You bring earth from your garden, the topsoil, you put it in a container and you put it in your puja room. It becomes sacred. Dharti Ma, pehla Navratra Dharti Ma ke liye. Of course, in an agrarian economy, the entire Khetri Bijna was also an experimental to see how the quality of your seed is. Which is what they say, na, ki Khetri kaisi hui. It's not about superstition. It's to see the quality of the seed which the farmer is going to be sowing in the fields eventually. So that he knows what kind of nutrition needs to be done, what kind of watering needs to be done. Imagine he has a laboratory right inside his temple to know that. So, pehla Navratra Dharti Ma ke liye. Dusra Navratra. Are you all right if I keep speaking in Hindi in between?
That's fine. That's wonderful.
Okay.
We use
Dusra
Hindi.
Navratra. Dusra Navratra. Dhai Ma ke liye, the obstetrician, the one who has delivered. So initially I was like, so why isn't the second one for the mother? पैदा तो उन्होंने किया है, 9 महीने पाला है, but वो 9 महीने का पालना, unless the obstetrician, the Dhaima does not relieve and help the woman deliver properly, it would all go to waste. And look, so the gratitude of a mother towards the Dhaima, who allowed her to deliver the baby, who enabled her to deliver a healthy baby. So second Navratra is for the Dhaima. The third Navratra is for the Prasuti Ma. You know what a Prasuti Ma is? What we call nowadays the Japa maid. Because the young mother, a primey, may not even know how to hold a baby at her breast and nurse her. It all depends on the kind of support she receives. And you know, earlier times I remember we would say, "Arey chua chut, haath nahi lagana." Oh, how backward. Not backward. That was quarantine. That sutak was quarantine to give the baby and the mother rest. I remember my children were cesareans and the doctor was very categoric, saying 40 days, don't let outsiders touch your child. You know, if anybody has to touch, make sure they wash their hands and only then minimize interaction. Otherwise, infections, as it is, cesarean babies are very delicate. So the Tisra Navratra is for the Prasuti Ma. The Chautha Navratra is for the own mother. And that does not necessarily have to be the biological mother. It can also be the adopted mom. You know, we have just Ma Yashoda. उनसे सुंदर माँ और बेटे का relationship कहाँ है? The beauty of Krishna and Yashoda's relationship is, I mean, it's exotic, no? It's so beautiful. So the Chautha Navratra is for the mother. And look at, by the mother being the fourth, look at the entire approach of giving credit and accepting that there are people who have enabled us to have this joy and honoring that. Now, which is the next feminine relationship that a child discovers in his life? The relationship with a sister. Your first friend is the sister. पहली दोस्त बहन होती है. So, धरती माँ, धाई माँ, प्रसूति माँ, अपनी माँ, फिर बहन. And where the sister is older, or there are older brothers in the house, they also may have daughters. So the next Navratra is the niece. That is, and the first stirrings of parental feelings in a boy comes with nieces. You know, I remember seeing this man, वो बच्चे बैठ के उसके मामा मामा करके उसके बालों में चुटिया गूंथते रहते थे. वो otherwise the man was a terror. But with the little girls in the house, it didn't matter. वो चुटिया बना रही है और rubber band लगा रही है, and he was all right with it. You know, that is the level of relationship, and that is celebrated by a Navratra dedicated to that niece who has allowed your heart to swell with joy and feel the stirrings of the parental instincts in you. The next relationship, having been through these feminine relationships, then a man encounters the relationship with a partner, with a wife. So the next Navratra is for the Patni. So Dharti Ma, Dhai Ma, Prasuti Ma, Apni Ma, Behin, Bhanji, Patni. The seventh Navratra is for the Patni. And then the eighth Navratra is for the daughters. And the ninth Navratra is for the granddaughters. So, बाकियों के लिए तो आपने व्रत रख लिया. पर अगर आपके घर में छोटी छोटी बेटी है आपकी, how will you celebrate her? Will you fast or will you make her feast? You will make her, you will treat her to her favorite food, you will get her new clothes, new gifts. And will you do that only for her? Or will you also include her friends in it? You will include her friends in it. And then, so where the protagonist, the one who's fasting, the main person in the household, has young daughters, they will do the Ashtami Pujan and have Kanjak at home on Ashtami. And where there is an older man in the family, and he's the one who's observing all the fasts, and he's the one who's taking care of the jot. There, the granddaughters are celebrated, which is why कई लोग कहते हैं ना, अरे हमारी family में तो अष्टमी पूजते हैं, हमारी family में तो नवमी पूजते हैं. This is why it happened. इस तरह से हुआ. Now look at the social impact of an understanding like this. When you grow up twice a year, seeing the men in the family are fasting for the feminine relationships. You see little girls being worshipped in the house. Look at the attitude of treating women as sacred. Wouldn't the circumstances where there is abuse happening go down? When you bring up with these kind of values, and not just mouthing values and giving them as lectures, but you actually live that life for children to watch how women are to be treated, how they are sacred, how they are divine, and they need to be respected. Right? So even in gifts, I've seen when I was young, we used to get chudi and we used to get chunri and stuff. But as I started doing Navratras, I started doing pencil box and coloring books, you know, because the kind of upbringing we give to our little girls, as it changed, the gifts change. And gradually, I feel even the kind of treats that we give is changing, because people are no longer as particular about khali halwa puri banna. Halwa puri was the tastiest, most desired dishes of those times. So I remember a friend of mine once saying that I get very excited about Navratras and Kanjak, but you know, my daughter, she doesn't like halwa puri and chole. She's वो नाक चढ़ाती रहती है कि मुझे नहीं खाना ये सब. तो वैसे क्या पसंद है उसको? उसको बर्गर और मिल्क शेक पसंद है. I said, आप बर्गर्स बनाओ, मिल्क शेक दो ना. Burger में आप chickpea का patty बना लो if you feel very particular that I don't want to break away from tradition completely. There must be a reason कि छोले बनते थे. So it could be it's a high protein thing. You've been fasting. जो घर पे बना है वही खाओगे ना. You've been fasting for so many days, so you need that protein dish. So you chickpea का patty बनाओ उसमें और burgers खिलाओ बच्चों को और milkshake पिलाओ. क्या problem है? The idea is to celebrate them, right? So anyway, so this is the understanding of Navaratras from the relationship perspective. Even a woman herself, if we look at Navaratras, if we look at the various names and the iconography of the Devis, there is so much to learn. I was so completely blown away by it when this Baba told me about it, and I kind of did a little more research on it. So do you know that the iconography is actually explaining the 9 months of pregnancy of a woman? So the first Navratra, the goddess is what? Shailaputri. And Shailaputri is what? Mountain range. So when the uterus is prepared to receive a fertilized egg, it is lined with epidermis, which looks like a mountain range. Shailaputri. The second Navratra is Brahmacharini, for Devi Brahmacharini. Now, I will take the meaning of the names again after some time. I'm just sharing this aspect right now. So Brahmacharini is basically celibacy, right? That is how we understand. If those of you who would recall, once we discover a pregnancy and you've tested positive and you've informed the doctor about it, one of the first things the gynae advises is no coitus. Celibate for some time till the pregnancy is stabilized. Brahmacharini. The third is Chandraghanta. Do you remember the first ultrasound and how the baby looks, the fetus looks like a little crescent moon? Chandraghanta. The fourth, Kushmanda. That is when tiny specks, kush, chota chota, of hair is developing. Specks are developing on the embryo. After that is Skandamata. Let me just mute. Yeah. After that is Skandamata. Skand means earth. So basically what is happening is the earth element is getting concretized in the fetus. So the rubbery cartilage is now becoming hardened and becoming like bone. Skandamata. After that is Katyayani. She's the protector. What protects us? Immunity system, because the immunity system is getting developed now. After that is Kalaratri. You remember when you have to travel and the doctor says, no, not in this month. This is a very difficult period. Please, no traveling in this month. That is the Kalaratri. After that is Mahagauri. Mahagauri is peaceful, silent. And a lot of women would say, the baby is not kicking anymore. What is wrong? You end up calling the doctor, wanting another ultrasound. Is everything all right? I don't feel the baby kicking in. Because the baby is now resting and just growing in size. खूब रेस्ट करना उसने बाहर आके तो जिंदगी सबकी दुश्वार करनी है शोर मचा मचा के तभी वो खूब रेस्ट कर रहे हैं महागौरी एकदम शांत. And then Siddhidatri. This is the most amazing thing. Siddhidatri bolte, she can give you any boons. She can cure any disease. She can rejuvenate you completely. She can grant you anything. Do you remember what is done in the final month once the baby is delivered? The stem cells. They have the capacity to become any cell and treat any disease. Siddhidatri. There is actually evidence that Ravan was familiar with, and he had mastered the technique of using stem cells for rejuvenation, which is why he had 10 heads, which is why the only way he could be killed was by piercing his navel. Siddhidatri. So the Nav Durgas and 9 months of pregnancy explained through their names and their iconography. But this is not where it stops. Even their entire attitude is about the development of a woman and her identity. The first one, Shailaputri, a little girl, is known as her father's little girl. Putri hai, that is the primary identity. Ki wo putri hai kisi ki. And then she starts going to school. You remember the 4 आश्रम? तो पहला आश्रम कौन सा होता है? ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम. ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम में क्या कर रहे हैं? पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं. You're learning skills, you're going to school. So Brahmacharini, she's in the student mode. She's learning new skills. Then Kushmanda, she's becoming multifaceted. So the first goddess, Shailputri, is shown with only 2 arms. The second Brahmacharini is also shown with only 2 arms. But the third, Kushmanda, is shown with, no, sorry, Chandraghanta. My bad. She's shown with a crescent moon on her forehead. So her mind is developing now. Now that she's been getting this education, her mind is developing. And once her mind is developing, she's now becoming multifaceted, which is Kushmanda. And she has multiple arms now because she has a skill set which is multifaceted. She may go this way or she may go that way. She will make those choices. She is now at the cusp of discovering the immense potential that she has. And then the next is, किसी को याद है?
Shalputri, then Brahmachari,
Skandamata.
then Chandraghanta, then Kushmanda, then Skandamata.
Yeah.
Today's
So Kushmanda is the time when she is pregnant because she has a matka. If you look at the iconography, she has a matka with honey in it. And a pot the iconography of a pot in our scriptures is to denote a womb. Because she's pregnant and she has a golden hue. Because a woman is glowing at this time. A pregnant woman is glowing. She's multifaceted, but she's focused on that, having a baby now. And then she becomes Skandamata. As Skandamata, she's focused completely on the child. In Skandamata, वो अपने बच्चे को साथ में गोदी में लेके बैठी है, because that is her world now.
Kartikeya's mother.
Sorry? Acha, okay.
Kartikeya's mother.
Kartikeya's mother, yes. How beautiful. This is also very interesting, that this is the beauty of Sanatan Dharma, the first family, our Lord Shiva and Parvati. So Kartikeya is Shiva's. Parvati's role is only mothering him. She did not have a role in manifesting him. But she is known as Kartikeya's mother. And Ganesh was created mainly by her, but the father is Shiva. Look at the first family. I mean, we think now the current generation thinks they're woke. How woke can you get? Look at how woke we have always been for eternity. So, Kushmanda, the golden womb, also known as Hiranyagarbha, then Skandamata, and then Katyayani, the protector. Now, when she is the mother of a child, she can do anything. Even a timid woman, if it comes to her child's life, she can battle anybody in the world. So that is the Katyayani. Then the Kalratri. Now, this is one of the very interesting. Kalratri can be understood in 2 ways. One, that the Ratri is Kali. It can be a dark night. The other, this is the one wo Kal ko bhi kha jayegi. Kal ko bhi nigal jayegi. So, as a woman, when she starts looking for her identity, She was the father's daughter, then she was a young student, then she was a young woman performing her duties, then she became a mother. But now's the time she's going to discover herself. And in that discovery, anything is possible. And then comes कौन सी कालरात्रि के बाद
Mahagauri.
महागौरी. This is, कहते हैं ना बच्चे बड़े हो गए, अब स्ट्रेस नहीं दिखता इसके चेहरे पे. She's done. एक रिलैक्सेशन आ जाता है. The children have grown up. They're taken care of. They're managing their own things. So there's a time for resting now. But a woman is not done. She's not done, because all that she has learned, all that she has over the years imbibed, and all that she has manifested, she needs to share that. So as Dadi Nanis, they are suddenly active all over again. Siddhi Datri, she's giving gift, she's giving lessons, she's doing child duty again. I mean, look at the beauty of how this has been explained, how an identity of a female. So it's just the various stages are understood so beautifully, psychologically, the things that we go through, the various stages that a woman goes through, how beautifully it's explained. So look at the Kalratri part, for example. You could get lost in it, or you could devour everything negative and come out stronger. Even the name Kalratri, the fact that it can be interpreted two ways, which is exactly what happens. Women either lose themselves, or they come back rejuvenated in a manner that the negativity, they have managed to transform it into becoming a Mahagauri. So this is another aspect. Now, how much time do we have? Is this a 1 hour session?
Yeah, it is till 9, and we can take question answers also.
Okay, so I will just do a quick
just continue.
Devi, the Devi Mahatmya once.
Yeah.
To just again share with you, this is another very important facet. We've all read the Durga Saptashati sometime or the other. This is Durga Saptashati, and we've all done the part, and we get to know about these demons that the goddess kills. And when we visit the pandals, we see there is this Mahishasur Mardini, she's killing a buffalo. These are not just, the idolatry is not just for of course, it's a beautiful expression of people's creativity and a chance where they receive validation for their creative skills, and there is an enjoyment and bonhomie that happens. All that is fine. But even the various demons that are killed, there is a story. And that story is that so it starts with that Surat, along with Samadhi, goes to Rishi Medha. So Surat is what? Surat is the person who is sitting on the Rath. The fact that this body is a Rath with senses, and I am aware, I am as the person who is driving this. I am on the Rath, and along with Samadhi, I have had the experience of silence. Samadhi. He doesn't go by himself, he goes with Samadhi, which means that I have had the experience of silence. And who do I go to? The Rishi Medha, the intelligence, higher intelligence. I go to Rishi Medha, and Rishi Medha then tells me the Devi Mahatmya. And what does he say? So this is somebody who has experienced meditation. And once you have experienced meditation and you start understanding with your intelligence what is happening inside you. So when the Kundalini Shakti rises, the first thing she kills is Madhu and Kaitaba. Madhu is what? Sweet. Kaitab is what? Bitter. So things that the attraction and the aversion. So the first thing, when somebody starts practicing, the first thing that happens to them is that they stop having too many preferences. Oh, I like only this, I like only that. They become all right. I can't stand this. Nahi hota. Somebody who's doing dhyan regularly, that person will not have such an attitude, because Madhu and Kaitab are the first demons that are killed. The next demon that is killed is Mahishasur. And Mahishasur is a shape-shifting demon. He's not a regular demon. He's a shape-shifting demon. Sometimes he becomes a buffalo, sometimes he becomes a lion. So what is it? That the next thing that happens is the tamas inside us. It can be laziness, it can be arrogance, it can be pride. Then it raises its head. Have you noticed that when you start doing a new anushthan or something and you get onto the path of spirituality, बड़ी नींद आने लग जाती है. ध्यान करने बैठो नींद आने लग जाती है. ध्यान करने बैठो नींद आने लग जाती है. Because Mahishasur is raising its head. Buffalo होता है ना, एकदम ढीठ, lazy. So, and Mahishasur is a shape-shifting demon. It can present itself in various forms. It can present itself as pride. And then Madhu Kaitaba, then Mahishasur, then the next demons that are slayed are Chand Munda. Chand is ignorance and Mund is actions out of ignorance. Because now intelligence is developing. You do not do something just for the sake of doing. The fact that we are all here trying to understand Navaratras instead of just, following it by rote, कि ये ritual होता है, ये कर दो, ये कर दो, ये कर दो. Those, you may still choose to do a ritual, but now you would do it out of understanding of it. You will not do it out of ignorance. You will do it from an appreciation of why a ritual is there. Right? So, Chand Mund are slayed. The next demon that is slayed is Dhumralochan, anger. And what does anger do? We can't look properly with anger. We lose our vision. We lose our capacity to see things. And another demon that is slayed, Rakta Bij. What is the quality of Rakta Bij? Wherever even a drop of its blood falls, another demon rises from it. And what in us is like that? एक खत्म होता है, एक और शुरू हो जाता है. Desires. And रक्त बीज को मारने का तरीका सेम नहीं है जो बाकियों को मारने का तरीका. धूम्रलोचन तो देवी उसको फूक मार के हटा देती है. Which is what? That with awareness, if you focus on it, anger will go. Have you noticed if you're angry and you realize that you're angry, you're not angry anymore. Because the anger dissolves in the awareness. So how is Rakta Bij slayed? Ma Kali comes out of the lalat of the Devi and she takes a khapper and collects the blood in it and drinks it up. So this is saying that you have to become aware. You have to observe your desires. You have to go to the root of it. And only then can the desires be slayed. You can't slay desires by just suppressing them because they will not get slayed. Another desire will rise. I think Rakta Bij is slayed first and Dhumralochan later. And finally, the two that are slayed are Shumbha Nishumbha. And Shumbha Nishumbha. So now all the tamasic qualities have been slayed. Now what is left to be slayed? सब कुछ तो कर दिया, सब तो मर गए. अब क्या रह गया? अब मैं और मेरे का भाव रह गया. I and mine का भाव रह गया. And the Devi then slays that too. Right? So I just wanted to share this understanding of the Devi Mahatmya with all of you. Chandi Path ka. Please by all means do Chandi Path. Please do the various stotras and the stutis in it. They're beautiful. And there is so much to learn from them. Even if you just see the devta log jo stuti karte hain, mother goddess ki, Ya Devi sarva bhuteshu shakti rupe samstita namastasyai 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 namo namaha. So Shakti ka roop to hai ma, very nice. But when you see, they also say, Ya Devi sarva bhuteshu nidra rupe samstita. Even sleep is a form of the goddess. Shudha Rupena Samsita. Even hunger is the goddess. So basically all of life is the divine only. And there's a very beautiful section in the Durga Saptashati where this person is saying that I am very bad. I am very bad. I can't do Anushthan properly. I can't do mantra chanting properly. I can't offer prayers properly. I am lazy. I don't do the blah, 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 blah. I am a bad child. But you are the mother. You can never be bad. So you please take care of me. Look at what a beautiful attitude of surrender, right? So I think now we should leave some time for question answers. Well, this is such a beautiful subject. I can keep talking about it, but we got to respect timelines too.
No, this was very interesting. An interesting way of telling us about Navaratra and so many new things you have shared with us. Now it is open for the question answers. You can unmute and ask.
Pooja Arora has raised her hand. Pooja, would you
Pooja.
like to speak?
Pooja, she's just clapping.
Oh, is that a clap? Sorry, I thought it was a hand raised.
Yeah, I was just applauding. I mean, I loved it. It was very nice.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy.
अनु दी मैं एक क्वेश्चन पूछूं
हाँ जी हरविंदर, बिल्कुल पूछिए.
मैं अभी पढ़ रही थी because as you know we are discussing on that day also. So just I was reading this Durga Saptati is cursed by Lord Brahma. What does it mean?
Okay. So kuch shrapit hai, not all of it. There are some parts that are shrapit. And that is basically, you see, I explained this in one of the previous sessions. I don't think you attended that. What happens is, especially meditation and stuff, if you don't get guidance from the right, correct guidance about it, you can make a lot of errors, right? It's like if you look at the master chef for children that they had, where the children are taught how to cook, but they're given cutlery in plastic so that they don't hurt themselves. Because it's not that there is anything wrong with cooking. And even the equipment that they use, it has to be something that will not harm the kids. So what we don't realize is that हमारे अंदर जो ऊर्जा है, वो बहुत powerful है. And unless we are getting right guidance from somebody who understands, we are prone to make errors that can hurt ourselves. We can hurt ourselves. So like we tell our children, ये मत करना unless I'm around. नहीं तो कुछ हो जाएगा, बुड्ढा बाबा आ जाएगा. So it is like that, in that it is a very powerful thing. Don't trivialize it. हाँ जी रत्ना.
अच्छा भी आपने बताया कि वो कहते हैं कि हमें मतलब मुझे कुछ नहीं आता है पूजा करना और कैसे आराधना करते हैं. तो ये आई थिंक एक क्षमा प्रार्थना में इसके बारे में आवाहनम न जानामि न जानामि विसर्जनम.
हाँ, क्षमा प्रार्थना में.
क्षमा प्रार्थना में
हाँ.
मतलब एक तरह से देखा था इंसान बता रहे हैं देवी से कि
हाँ.
आप जो भी कुछ हम करते हैं हमें आता कुछ नहीं है, जस्ट परफॉर्मिंग.
सच्ची तो है. देखो मैं आज यहाँ बैठ के बहुत हीरो बन के इतना कुछ बता रही हूँ जैसे मुझे बहुत पता है. अभी बताओ वैलिडेट करने वाला कौन है यहाँ पे? कौन? कुछ मैंने किसी से सीखा है, कुछ मैंने मनन किया है. हो सकता है उसके बाद भी आगे जाके लगे कि अरे ये सब भी ऐसा नहीं है तो ऐसा होता है. तो एंड ऑफ द डे क्षमा प्रार्थना तो सारा टाइम वो करनी ही पड़ेगी ना. अगर ह्यूमिलिटी छोड़ के एरोगेंस में आ जाएगी कि मुझे सब मालूम है तो फिर तो अपना ही पतन है.
तो मुझे लगता है जो पूरी दुर्गा सप्तशती नहीं पढ़ सकते हैं, एटलीस्ट क्षमा प्रार्थना भी करते हैं तो भी एक मतलब देवी तक आपके भाव पहुंच जाते हैं.
बिकॉज दैट इज सरेंडर. नो, दैट इज द. देखो हम सबकी ऊर्जा मूव करती है किसी ना किसी ढंग से, किसी की इंटेलिजेंस में. दैट some people like to use their mind a lot. उनके लिए वेदांत है. Some people are activity oriented. उनके लिए योगासन राजयोग वगैरह है. Some people are emotional. तो जो इमोशनल है ना ये, उसके लिए सरेंडर के अलावा तो कोई और तरीका ही नहीं है.
बिल्कुल सही बात है. तो इसीलिए मैं अपने बारे में बोलती हूँ कि जैसे मैं दुर्गा सप्तशती नहीं पढ़ पाती हूँ रोज, लेकिन मैं क्षमा प्रार्थना पढ़ती हूँ तो मुझे काफी तसल्ली होती है कि एटलीस्ट मैंने फॉरगिवनेस तो ली है उनसे.
सिद्ध कुंजिका स्तोत्र मुझे लगता है कि अगर पढ़ें तो उसकी वाइब्रेशन से, वो जो नवारण मंत्र है उसकी वाइब्रेशन से बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. बट अगेन वी नीड टू डू इट इन अ मैनर, वी हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट इट इज वेरी पावरफुल एंड वी नीड टू हैव प्योरिफिकेशंस इन आवर लाइफ. बिकॉज अब देखो आप किसी चीज को गर्म करोगे तो उसके अंदर जो है वो एक्सपैंड हो जाएगा. अगर प्योरिफिकेशंस नहीं कर रहे हैं तो जो हमारा तमस है वो एक्सपैंड हो जाएगा.
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
मंगल कार्निक ने हाथ रेस किया हुआ है, राहुल गुप्ता जी ने हाथ रेस किया, वैदेही ने हाथ रेस किया है. हाँ जी मंगल जी आप बोले.
मुझे पूछना था
कि ऐसे कहते हैं कि दुर्गा सप्तशती पढ़ने से आदमी के अंदर गुस्सा ज्यादा आता है, वन गेट्स मोर एंग्री।
देखिए, ऊर्जा ऊर्जा बहुत क्रिएट होती है, तो इसीलिए शांति पाठ करना चाहिए बाद में। अब आपने गैस पे खाना बनाया है, अगर आप गैस बंद किए बिना चले जाओगे तो खाना जल जाएगा, और अगर खाना हटा भी दिया उसके ऊपर से तो गैस बर्बाद होगी, है ना। तो इसीलिए जो भी खाली दुर्गा सप्तशती क्यों, अगर आप श्री महामृत्युंजय मंत्र का भी जाप करते हो तो उसके बाद भी आप, क्योंकि उसमें इन इन चीजों में ऊर्जा बढ़ती है अंदर। एंगर क्या है? एंगर इज बेसिकली एनर्जी ओनली, नो, which has not been channelized yet.
So what should one do after this, after reading
शांति
this
पाठ, शांति पाठ, डू शांति पाठ।
please tell me.
हे शांति अंतरिक्ष शांति, यू नो, वो श्री औरबिंदो वाली मदर बड़ा स्वीट बोलती है, वो बोलती है अपने शांति को अपनी बेस्ट फ्रेंड बना लो। जस्ट से शांति, कम सिट विद मी, शांति कम सिट विद मी। या जो मंत्र है देव शांति अंतरिक्ष शांति पृथ्वी शांति, वो तो पूरा, अनलेस एवरीथिंग बिकम्स शांत आई कैन नॉट बी शांत, ना, पूरा इंटरकनेक्टेड वर्ल्ड है। सिर्फ शांति, ओम शांति शांति शांति, वही करते जाओ।
थैंक यू सो मच।
वेलकम जी। राहुल गुप्ता, बताएं।
Hello,
हेलो,
am I audible?
यस यू आर, प्लीज गो ऑन।
Okay, I just had a very ignorant kind of question. So there, I mean, there's like Sendha namak is permitted in during the fast. Why? I mean, is this the only namak which is permitted during the fast, and what is the reason?
Actually, ideally, you're not supposed to eat namak at all. This is what a leeway
Acha.
we have found, that because you're trying to reduce the tamas, right? And salt is something that increases the tamasic. You're supposed to have, phal and that kind of diet, and even that जो कुट्टू का आटा होता है, सिंघाड़े का आटा होता है, एक आटा का constitution गर्म होता है, एक का ठंडा होता है. These rules and regulations have come much later. The idea is from where, this is again one of my favorite examples to give. You go and stand in front of a mall and you look at their map, okay? And you decide you want to go to Zara or you want to go to Marks and Spencer, and you're looking at it. But you cannot get anywhere unless you know where you are, right?
Okay.
So wherever we are, we have to start from that point. And the idea is to reduce the tamas from that point. For example, one particular time, I was traveling a lot with work and Navaratras came, and I knew I couldn't have observed the Navaratras in this manner of doing ye wala khana. So I decided, okay, I was drinking too much tea and coffee. I decided to give up tea, coffee. वो 8 दिन चाय कॉफी नहीं पी के withdrawal symptoms और headaches होके सब छूट गया मेरा. I didn't drink tea after that. So, for many years. So
Exactly the same thing happened with me too.
yeah, so you can look at the fasting in this perspective instead of saying सेंधा नमक खाना चाहिए, दूसरा नहीं. देखो, चंड मुंड का वध करने दो माँ को. Ignorance में मत action करो. Action understanding से करो. So you could speak to your doctor, speak to your diet
so basically
nutritionist,
to be
and figure out what is the diet that you
dependence.
can follow.
Okay.
Yeah, so even if you can just non-veg और दारू छोड़ देगा किसी के लिए, उसका वो व्रत हो गया. किसी ने अपने घर में लहसुन प्याज छोड़ दिया, उसका वो व्रत हो गया. किसी ने वीट छोड़ दिया, उसकी ग्लूटेन एलर्जी की जो पॉसिबिलिटीज थी, उसका वो व्रत हो गया. So, and you see the kind of gluten issues that people are developing now. But if you give a break to the body and you don't give gluten for a while, your body actually even handles it better later. So you have to find what is it that will work for you. Hanji Vaidehi, please speak.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Namaste. It was very nice talk about this thing. अच्छा, मेरे को ये एक बात का पता करना था कि अगर अभी आपने बोला था कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग से करना चाहिए. नाउ व्हाटएवर आई डू, मैं अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग से, मतलब इवन इफ आई हैव टू चैंट अ श्लोक, आई पुट माई सेल्फ देयर, आई लाइक जैसे ललिता सहस्रनाम के स्तोत्र में पढ़ती हूँ, तो आई एम ललिता, आई एम द त्रिपुरा सुंदरी, फ्रॉम दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई डू थिंग्स. सो ये जो सप्तशती है या दुर्गा सप्तशती है, त्रिशती है, how do I understand? Because it's deep Sanskrit. तो कोई पढ़ाता है
No,
ये
but
सब?
this book has an explanation साथ में. The Gita Press की जो किताब है, this is Sanskrit and Hindi, but you can also get Sanskrit and English, and it has a
अच्छा.
complete explanation. And one must remember, मंत्र के बारे में एक बात मैं और बता दूं, मंत्र में understanding उतना ज्यादा important नहीं है, because it is a vibration. Sanskrit is a vibrational language, you know. The vibrations are creating an effect on you even when you do not realize it or do not understand it. But forget just chanting, even if you're listening to it, no, it's having an impact on you. समझ तो बाद में आएगा. तो जैसे नवारण मंत्र है, उसका मतलब नहीं भी समझ में आएगा, तो भी वो करने से आपके मॉलिक्यूलर लेवल पे चेंजेस होने लग जाएंगे बॉडी में. बिकॉज basically what are sounds? Let's understand. I mean, all of you, as Hina was telling in the beginning, you're all part of some modalities or the others. So जो नाड़ी में प्राण मूव कर रहा है एक चक्र में, वो जो उस फ्रीक्वेंसी से जो आवाज निकल रही है, उससे हमारा पूरा जो लेटर्स निकले हैं लैंग्वेज के, वहीं से आए हैं ना. So what happens is mantra is a combination of sounds which will impact the etheric body in turn and tune it. It will bring it in harmony. तो अगर मंत्र का मतलब नहीं भी समझ में आता, तो भी उसका इम्पैक्ट होता है. तो आई ऑलवेज से कि बाकी प्राणायाम खुद करना पड़ता है, आसन खुद करना पड़ता है, मंत्र तो सिर्फ सुनने से भी आप पे असर हो रहा है. Say Lalit, but please listen to the right pronunciation. That is very important. तो अगर ललिता सहस्त्रनाम सुनना है तो चल्लाकरी ब्रदर्स का सुने. उनका प्रोनाउंसिएशन इज वेरी गुड.
मैं बोलती हूँ, मैं चैंट करती हूँ वैसे.
वेरी गुड, बहुत बढ़िया.
हाँ, so I'm like it's amazing. It's amazing because अभी recently मेरा कीमोथेरेपी हुआ था, तो you know I was chanting while it was happening, you know. So I used to feel that, you know, ये रक्त बीज करके एक राक्षस था. So I used to feel she's coming and just drinking that रक्त बीज जो अंदर जा रहा है, वो that medicine, she's just drinking it up, you know.
How beautiful, how lovely. Imagine, देखो, mind space में, even you see, even science now recognizes that the actual effect of the medicine is just placebo. It is about how you treat it, how your mind treats it, that makes all the difference.
Yeah, very true, very true. So अभी recently कहीं मैं, मतलब I went for a नाड़ी, मैं जो ये पल्स नाड़ी देखते हैं ना, जो उन्होंने देखा, उन्होंने बोला कि you don't even, जो आपका नाड़ी है इतना क्लियर है, ये नहीं लग रहा है कि आपका अभी कीमो खत्म हुआ है, because normally it doesn't, they can't get it, the, you know, नाड़ी.
भैया गॉडेस के साथ जुड़ जाओ, सोर्स के साथ जुड़ जाओ, उसके बाद तो सब हो ही जाएगा.
That's all. So she said, "Are you doing some mystical practices?" I said, I'm not there. She's there.
What in life is not mystical? Tell me. जीवन में नॉन मिस्टिकल है क्या?
है क्या? कुछ नहीं है. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So good evening, ma'am. Shall we read Durga Saptashati in Hindi or Sanskrit? तो देखिए, जो उसमें स्तुति वगैरह है, उसको तो संस्कृत में ही पढ़ना है, because like I said, जो मंत्र का जो हाँ मंत्र वगैरह है, उनको तो संस्कृत में ही पढ़ना है, क्योंकि उनकी वाइब्रेशंस एक अलग इफेक्ट क्रिएट करती हैं. बट जो उसकी कहानी है, जो उसका डीप मीनिंग्स है, उसको समझने के लिए आप हिंदी या इंग्लिश में पढ़ेंगे तो then you will, and allow it to happen gradually. You'll see once you start this now, अपने आप धीरे धीरे अनफोल्डमेंट होता रहता है. All I'm able to do is सिद्ध कुंजिका every day. Very good. सिद्ध कुंजिका से तो ज्यादा पावरफुल कुछ है ही नहीं. नवारण मंत्र का आप खाली एक माला भी जप सकते हैं रोज. दैट विल ऑल्सो बी वेरी इफेक्टिव. सिद्ध कुंजिका पूरा अगर नहीं भी करना है, तो खाली उसकी माला जपने लग जाए तो, बिकॉज वो अंदर बॉडी में चेंजेस, शिव की शक्ति आ रही है, काली की शक्ति आ रही है, माँ लक्ष्मी की शक्ति आ रही है, पूरा एकदम गणेश जी की भी शक्ति है उसमें, तो वो एकदम होलसम है एकदम से वो. और कोई सवाल है कि क्लोज करें? हाँ जी सीमा, प्लीज टेल मी.
Hi Anu.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask you one thing. जैसे आपने कहा कि सुन सकते हैं, do we need to sit in one place and listen, कि साथ में काम चलता रहे and that sound can keep vibrating?
बैठ के सुनेंगे तो will be better.
Yeah.
But between not running it and having it in the background, obviously having it in the background is better than not having it, no? but I am telling you gradually घर की एनर्जी बदलने लग जाती है, तो चला के छोड़िए, कोई नुकसान नहीं है उसमें.
ठीक है, थैंक यू.
वेलकम.
And in the chat, she is writing, Hitesh is writing, she is also doing it, Durga Saptati from many years. So
Very
it's
nice.
fantastic. Huh?
Very nice. तो मैं क्लोज कर दूं अब.
Yeah.
You have any WhatsApp meditation group? Rita, I run a group called Cafe Spirituality. It's a community of seekers, and also a book reading group where we read a book and we meet once a week on Zoom and share our understanding of the book and stuff. So most welcome to come and join. It's an open forum. And details. My cell phone number आप ले लीजिएगा. शकुंतला जी आप दे दीजिएगा इनको number मेरा.
Okay.
So this is going to go on YouTube. I don't want to say my number out aloud.
All right.
आप दे दीजिएगा.
All right. I'll do that.
ठीक है.
Yeah.
Can you post the link of that group on Shakuntala ji so that people who are interested can just
हाँ
join?
ठीक है. मैं शकुंतला जी को भेज दूंगी.
Yeah, we'll do.
ठीक है.
We'll do. हाँ.
Neeta says, thank you, Ji. Arey, most welcome, Ji. Thanks to all of you. You know, this is, मैं बोल रही ना, ये मेरा तो यही अनुष्ठान है कि मैं इसके बारे में बात करी. मैं तो कुछ और कर नहीं रही हूँ. And I've been having fever for the last 2 days. तो मैं रोज सुबह 11 से 12 जो कर रही थी sessions, आज और कल तो वो भी नहीं कर पाई. Hopefully कल I'll resume them from tomorrow. I don't know yet. Depends on how the night goes. But it was like, so आप सबको thank you for listening to me.
No, it was really wonderful session.
बहुत अच्छा बताया और इतनी नॉलेज आपने जो दी है अभी मतलब ऐसे हम लोग जानते हैं 9 देवियां सब जानते हैं पर उसके डीपर सेंस क्या है वो आज आपने बताया. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much. मैं close कर देती हूँ.
Thank you for coming to this.
I'll just close, okay?